So I guess that dog was probably good to those turkeys. I mean, they're alive, first of all.
Yeah, the turkeys came to the funeral.
Or they hated. Maybe they came to spit on his grave.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you.
You dog.
Yeah,
I don't.
How do you write?
I don't know if it's that interesting. I always think it's like the process is not as exciting as people think of making comedy. But yeah, no. Usually, I like the easiest stuff for me to do is the most satisfying is like short stuff. So like one-liners or like bits with 2-3 jokes in it, and I'm like, wait, that's done. I could word it properly right away. It's like I like things that are formed almost right away. But I'm trying to do longer stuff and trying to come up with things that where you kind of get some rolling energy or whatever.
I feel like editing is 80% of the work. Like, I don't know. I have
it's
lot of ideas, and
do
you write shit down all day?
That's what good comedians say. I don't do that as much as I
Do
do.
you write shit down all day? Because when I catch something, I immediately write it down in Evernote, and then it's in my notes on the computer or wherever. And if that thought, and like sometimes it's like one line, one thought, one kind of observation or joke. And then 6 months later, we're doing something, and I'll be like, "Oh, I got something for this. I got something for this."
Yeah, right.
So I have 300 fucking notes written down, and sometimes it's a 4,000 word fucking deliberation that needs to be cut down, and sometimes it's just one line on a subject. It's weird.
The worst, I mean, something will pop in my head, and I'm like, "Oh, that's great," but just recently, I mean, it's happened a few times where I write something down and I keep writing, and it's all funny, but then. That's not really how I go up on stage anyways. It's like I would have to memorize that exactly word for word, and I think that would work great. Yeah. But now I have to memorize this thing that I usually just freestyle a little bit around an idea, or just have this is a punchline, so I'm gonna have to say it. That's what so like the memorization
do. I'm doing that right now as well. But really, the ideal is, I think you kind of freestyle it a few times, and then you decide what the written bit is. Once you know this way kind of worked, this way kind of didn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But when I reread the thing that I wrote down, that's like a paragraph. Like it's really funny. I think it's hilarious, the way I did it there. But when I go up on stage, like I did this thing about like how I hate I'm tall but I don't play basketball. Yeah, just a bit about that, and it literally comes from the truth. I really don't understand the rules of basketball. How come I can't just punch you in the face? And it's just basically that. But the way I wrote it, I'm like, I like the pattern of it. Yeah. But now I don't want to memorize that. I just want to speak from like my actual thoughts on stage. But the way I wrote it is better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know
Which is rare. I don't usually do that. But
you could have you could have some ready punchlines that I think you have certain points where you're like, okay, I'm going to hit this eventually, and then this, and then try to weave your way in a more organic way on stage into it, which is like what
ultimately I always did the best when I knew it word for word. In the past year, I don't think I've memorized the fucking thing. I just kind of have a few punchlines, and I write punchlines down on my hand because I'm fucking.
Oh really?
I'm a fucking junkie right now. I can't remember shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I've been doing that kind of freestyling thing, but I think like you write it, then you kind of freestyle it a few times, and you see, okay, that wording works, that doesn't. This energy worked better, and then you kind of rewrite it from experience of performing it, and then it's like a more final version that then you can learn, and then you're perfect. This gesture here, this face, I say it that. I think that's the way.
Yeah, it all depends though, because like I like improv, like I like improving, but then I will. I mean, it all depends. It's just it was a rare thing to like write down something and then rereading it.
Yeah,
because usually it is shit, and you're like, okay, I see the idea. Let me think about that idea. But to reread something, and you're like, I
want to acquire the skill of sitting down every day and doing something. Just read your shit, and something will come. Some kind of edit, some kind of cut, some kind of new punchline.
You're gonna have to make writing your habit.
Wake
up.
There's
this exercise of like write for 12 weeks every single day, or just write a page.
Yeah, it's the artist's way, that Julia something book.
Yeah,
Julia's Child.
No. But basically, the premise is
put 2 ounces of racism.
Yeah, there's a lot of all right.
After you roast the chicken.
The book is called The Artist's Way, and it's like you need to make a habit of it. And I think the main premise is you get up in the morning and you write 3 pages of just whatever
just
comes
one
to your
page
head.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever just comes to your head. 3 pages.
Yeah, I guess it's worth it
Wow.
if you get even like one joke out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you wrote 1 joke a day, you would be the most prolific comedian in the world.
I know. But I feel so much better when I already have like something that I'm excited about that I think is funny.
Yeah.
And then eventually I'll, on stage I'll kind of like some of my best shows are when I'm kind of half prepared, but the problem is repeating that same energy afterwards when it's like memorized and stuff. It's sometimes
I
it just
feel like
really
you're
doesn't
the
work for me.
most effective and kind of the audience is most engaged when you own your energy.
Yeah.
I'm talking like you in particular, not generally. When like you're a bit fucking tired, you just own it. Like I think that was like a Patrice O'Neill thing when he said, "I stopped like trying to perform.
Okay,
I just felt like I felt," and he owned that feeling. And if he was down, he would just talk about how fucking down and depressed he was or whatever.
Sure.
And I feel like that's interesting. I like the more I do it, I feel like I feel more like total authenticity is the goal.
Yeah,
I guess
it's the
so.
key. You need to be true. There needs to be
like that.
truth,
I
and
feel
it's
like
going to
that.
be the majority. Or it really depends on the style.
Yeah,
I really love the
yeah.
cartoony style. Like, I don't see... I see reality as it is.
But you are that of the stage. When we are together, you are in your
Exactly.
fucking mode.
Because it's
that
part of...
is you.
Yeah, it's part of my personality,
Yeah.
this goofy
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So it's like...
not a stage persona when you're acting.
Yeah,
out
it's
on
not
stage.
fake at
Absolutely,
all.
yeah.
And that's how it's like my entire thing on stage is just making people see what I see every single day. It's like here's how I see it, and I just interpret it in a way so that other people would understand how I see it. And I would do sketches all the time.
Do you know what we worked out recently? That was like an instant improvement. I finally cracked it because Badr's crowd work, or when we did it together, always felt kind of a little distant, a little pussy-footed, and I cracked what it was.
You got to make out beforehand.
I guess no. Badr was doing his call center voice.
He's doing that.
What do you
Hello,
mean?
how may I help you?
He works in a call center.
Yeah.
Like he
I
was doing
understand.
his call center voice when doing crowd work. He's like, "Hey, and what's your name? Okay, and what's your occupation?" He was doing his fucking call center voice.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing or a bad thing?
It's not authentic.
It's a bit
It's his
artificial.
fake white
Yeah.
voice that he puts on at work because he actually works in a call
Fake
center. Yeah, but
it was, yeah.
that was just. It was like a
And that
maybe
was-
observation from me. I was like, "Isn't that what the thing is?" And he was like, "Fuck yeah."
That made me realize something, that is hosting is completely different than just having 5 minutes to perform.
Oh yeah.
It's different energies. When you're hosting, you gotta go on like grounded. Like, you don't have to perform. You just be yourself and just say the stuff and acknowledge and address and make everyone comfortable and warmed up for the next comic. But when you're performing, I have to pull up that energy. Like, a lot of times I have to like kind of prepare and bring up this kinetic energy, and once I'm on stage, I just unleash all of that into people. They'll be like, "Whoa, you blew us up," stuff like that. But when I'm hosting, it's very hard to go on with that energy on from the very beginning, when literally the next comic is going to be like, "So I really saw my grandmother naked yesterday."
Yeah, sure.
Right.
And you're also starting from the ground floor where it's like people are not warmed up or whatever.
Exactly, which is very, very weird.
I love also absurd comedy.
Yeah.
And I do try sometimes to do absurd comedy, but sometimes it's like it's a complete fabrication. So it's
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
too
Yeah,
absurd, too
it's-
absurd, and
It's
people
the
are like,
opposite
"What is
of
happening?"
authentic, sort of.
Right. Because I had this one thing which where I wrote it and I laugh at it every time I read it, but it's so weird and no one really gets it. It's like me angrily just being pissed off that I like how come we don't use cream cheese as opposed to toothpaste? Like, use cream cheese instead, and I'm angry, and it turns out that I just don't know how to buy toothpaste.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's
Like,
so
I like
stupid,
jokes like that, and
but-
that's I don't know. Is that authentic? I don't know, but it's funny, right?
nonsense,
It's
basically. But but people are like, I mean, they're kind of like, what? Because it's not. If I did like my whole personality was all shit like that, maybe.
Yeah, then
But
that
I
would be
switch
like,
it up,
oh,
so-
it's just
yeah,
a
exactly. I
nutty guy
think
on
consistency
stage.
is part of it. Yeah, it's like I don't know if you could have like this honest, sincere joke or whatever, or
then
one liner, and then go into that. People are kind of surprised or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
or not. There's just not a lot. They don't believe it. I think is the problem.
It's like if I want to hear absurd, I will go to the mental institution. See people say some absurd stuff.
Yeah,
that
I just get tired of like of comedy and people interpreting comedy is so literal. I feel like that's always been kind of a problem in Polish stand-up as well. Is like they always think that what people are saying is direct, whereas a lot of times I want to say the opposite of what
I feel like I can say any racist thing at all. If I just do it in this voice, it's fucking obviously.
Yeah, voice.
It's a racist voice.
Voices help, that's for sure.
Like we had a Turkish guy in the front row at the Thursday show, and we were like, "Why are you in Poland?" So I was chasing a girl. He was like, "Typical Turk." Say anything in that voice.
Okay.
But in Polish, also sarcasm is that is a weird thing. A little bit. Because it doesn't work.
It's all different. Yeah.
For me, it's like a little different. It doesn't work as much. I could say in a regular voice, like, "Oh yeah, sure, do that," and then you'd know that I'm joking. Mm-hmm. That obviously I don't think you can or whatever. But in Polish, for some reason, maybe it's just how I talk, but like I can never pull off Polish sarcasm.
Yeah,
like it just doesn't work at all.
They just take you too seriously.
Yeah, it's just like,
whoa, what?
What? Like
cream cheese as a toothpick.
Exactly.
What are you talking about? Co to jest, no?
Yeah, and I've never performed. I probably won't perform like comedy in Polish, but like just talking to people, just saying a sarcastic joke. It's always like he's on it. He's actually being honest. Like what the fuck?
Right? Yeah.
You're so mean, and I'm like, no. This is a joke. Things come off so mean when I speak Polish, and I don't mean to.
Maybe it's
Polish
just
has
an
sharp
angry.
edges. That's what I.
It kind of does.
It's a good metaphor.
Yeah,
I think.
and it's a goofy language. From an English perspective,
it's
goofy
more
as fuck,
specific language. I feel like.
Wait, does it sound
more
goofy?
specific? What
not sound goofy, but the structure of it, like the rules. I'll explain it in a bit.
Okay. Describe things more accurately to be funny, whereas in English, like ambiguity is also funny. In English, there's a lot of I feel like there's more double entendres and double meanings and homophones and shit like that. Yeah. Where you can play with it. Whereas Polish, I feel like being very specific is actually funnier. Like, I
think being specific is always funny. Like you should use specific examples and stuff. But I have the problem with Polish more often that I don't have the exact words. Like when I'm writing a joke in English, I almost always have the words I need right away, whereas in Polish I have to kind of double guess it or whatever.
Do you speak better
guessing
English much better than in Polish?
I don't know. It's just for me it's a more natural comedy for language for comedy, that's for sure.
Okay. I'm forgetting
it's
Polish
just from hearing so much of it.
While living in the capital for 5 years, my Polish is actually getting worse the last couple of years. Because I work in English. Okay. All my friends speak English pretty much right now.
Right.
Yeah. Even Polish friends like Gaweł, sometimes it's just easier to talk English because that's what we are. And then I perform just in English, fuck Polish comedy. So I'm actually like forgetting shit.
Weird. Because
like I literally speak like Ponglish at home now.
Yeah.
I throw in words because I don't remember.
Yeah, but like I walked at Boho and I saw you guys all talking Polish, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe it's your more comfortable language.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
English is definitely my first language and has been for a long time. But now I've noticed like my Polish is getting worse while living in Poland, which is freaky and hilarious.
Which is weird, yeah.
I think it just depends what I want to say, but yeah, I definitely can switch to English easily.
I like Polish, like in terms of there are some funny things, and I think the absurd comedy in Polish is very funny. Like that's what the first jokes my mom ever told me were completely absurd in Polish, and they sound for some reason funnier in Polish. Like I'll do it in English, but it was like one of the first jokes she said was like a guy walks to the elevator and it's stairs. Like it's not.
How do you say it in Polish?
In Polish, I don't even remember. Yeah. But it's like the same. That concept is so stupid, and it was just funny. But in Polish, it's for some reason quicker. I don't know.
And there's something more rhythmic, like within the words.
Yeah, maybe some shit is just more rhythmic. Like
I have that with English. To me, it's like the opposite. I struggle with it more. Yeah.
Yeah, but it depends for what. Because
of course, yeah. What the source is or what the reference. Yeah.
Like I went to my friend who speaks to me in Polish. He's a drummer, and I was going to DJ in Katowice. And there's I won't get into specifics, but a person there who basically ran many clubs. And he knew her, and he was like, oh yeah, but in Polish he said, like, oh yeah, she isn't afraid of any drugs.
My kind of bitch.
And in Polish, it was so funny. In English, I mean, it is a weird way to say it. She isn't afraid of any drugs.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's just so much, because you say narkotyki in Polish, and that's a funnier sounding
kind
word.
of funny, yeah.
So just shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, Ariel's a world-class DJ, by the way. Check out at Heights Beats.
That's right.
Or some shit like that.
Yeah, I have to DJ this weekend. One is a charity and one isn't, and it feels weird right now to not do charities, actually.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, Friday night I have to DJ. And
How dare you earn money?
Yeah, it's a weird, but it's weird.
I know, it's a lot of people would struggle with that.
Are you paying rent?
We said it for 2 weeks, the donating like 4 shows, because Badr said, bro, from my experience, people forget about war in 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. We'll see what's going on a month from now. But I'm still...
It's not like I made that rule. Like,
yeah, I know. I said from your experience, that's what you noticed.
Of course,
and
from
true.
experience. What the fuck
I haven't
happened
thought about Syria in years.
Exactly. Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, 9/11, never forget. Wow. Wow. Jews from the Moses era, Jews in the fucking Palestine era, Jews in the German era, Jews...
No, it's
But yes,
no, that's true for a lot of things. But yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, when I want to do the Polish comedy, I want to do it in a way that I go ahead and I explain or make sense to myself things about the Polish culture and the Polish language and how close entangled they are. Like, for example, what's the word in Polish for happy?
Szczęśliwy.
It's szczęśliwy.
Wesoły.
Fucking impossible to say. Yeah. What is mad in Polish?
Zły.
Exactly. So easy. So easy. Like, oh my god. Jestem bardzo zły. Or sad, zły.
Smutny.
Smutny. Oh, even easier. It's just, but I am happy. Jestem szczęśliwy.
Right.
I'm zły. Like some stuff like that. Like I feel Polish people don't really understand Polish. And that's one of the things. That's why they're like they don't interact with each other that much.
Yeah, I had some similar to that, but like not quite that. But I never said it. It was just like about how in Polish, like things that get harder, like even the word harder is harder to say than the word easy. And just kept going like that. But it's not the same joke, but it was like, yeah, but again, you can only do those jokes to Polish people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which I guess is fine if you're doing comedy in
English.
Yeah,
I definitely want to do like sets in Polish, complete.
Is that what you want to do?
Support. What?
Is that what you want to do?
I live in Poland. Yes, that is the perfect way to make money.
You haven't made an attempt to learn Polish.
What? I did actually perform in English in front of a Polish crowd, completely Polish crowd. It was a Polish show. I went with Ajay, and I even did broken English jokes.
This?
It was in 2019. It was before COVID. And I went there, 80% of the people with me speaking English, they got it. And the 20% they were like,
they were laughing along.
They got it because your punchlines is waving your fucking arms about.
Exactly. So I can even go miming and people would love it. So why not?
But you actually want to learn Polish to do comedy in Polish?
I can even say, like, I believe people so far understand English, but I can do it like just right now. I can say like explain it in English or explain it in Polish, very, very basic, and they would get it.
Yeah, I mean, you could also learn word for word, sort of. You don't have to necessarily understand it.
My accent is good in Polish. Like, I think if I would say dzień dobry, they wouldn't be like, oh, no, that's Syrian.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they just look at your face.
Exactly. Yeah. Which they always have like a white mask of just some random guy named Pavel or something.
They're like, what? Why is this guy wearing a mask?
Yeah. I already have the very first Polish-English joke, which it is Polish.
It's in Polish, though.
It's in English, but the funny in it is if you know Polish, which is like, what would you call an orange puma in Polish? This is very cool. This is a very corny joke. I remember this. Dave just left them.
It didn't even... You already told this to us once, and it didn't make any sense. So I want to hear the next version. I mean,
there's only the one version. What would you call
orange puma
in Polish?
Okay, puma like the cat, orange color.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pomarańczowy.
I like it. It's kind of weird.
It's so corny.
It's so corny.
And you can't say it in Polish. You can't be like, co tam nazywa, I don't know, like Puma I pomarańczowe Puma.
You
can't go
You have to
like
say
that.
the word twice, so it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
It
You
is
have
a-
to say it in English for Polish
I
audience.
see. It is like a corny pun joke, but
So
it's still...
yeah, exactly. So if I can do that to Polish comedians and say stuff in English, but the punchline would be in Polish,
Sure.
I think they would understand to some certain extent.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I have jokes like that just about the Polish language, and only Polish people can understand it.
Yeah.
If they speak Polish, like I do, I think you can change Polish to an Italian-sounding language, and I just say Polish words in an Italian.
Yeah,
accent.
exactly. Which is
Like scarpette, and it's just socks.
Yeah.
But like, you can't. I couldn't do that if it was just English people who didn't speak Polish. They would be like, "What is happening?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is not a joke. I don't know Polish. What are you talking about?" But I get, but if that's what you're talking about, I thought you were saying you want to do a whole show when you only speak Polish.
Oh, that's like, I don't know, in like 2 years. Give me 2
2
years.
years?
I think I can do that in 2 years.
Really?
Yes, I'm learning my Polish now.
No, you can't.
I'm learning
Because
my
you'd have
Polish.
to learn it phonetically, and you can't even remember a sentence in English. When I give you a joke before we go, sometimes I will come up with a joke. I was like, when we
So
go
mean.
up after introducing somebody, I'll be like, "Hey, clap him with this," and he'll just go on and be like, "Hey, the next guy." Just why I kind of go on to introduce people now, so I can clap him afterwards. I feel like that adds a good vibe to the show. Like after Ricky,
Right.
I say something like, Ricky strikes me like the kind of guy who uses glory holes. And I take a dramatic drink while they're laughing. And I'm like, in both directions. Crushes. for any Indian or foreign guy, I'll just go with the, if you want to see more of this guy, you can actually see him on Friday and Saturday nights outside Teatro Cubano, impersonating a taxi driver, looking for his next victim.
Yeah, I like that one. That one I like.
That's nice.
Yeah, I don't mind making people make fun of me or me making fun of someone, but some comedians maybe I shouldn't say this, but they don't like it at all, and I've gotten.
Yeah, I don't really care. I think it could only really hurt you before your set. Like if you do it after, I shouldn't really.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, okay. Just
I
because.
feel like it's a nicer vibe if comedians diss each other, because then the audience feels like, oh, these guys
Yeah.
are comfortable enough with each other. They're
Right.
like,
Yeah.
Sure.
And even for some, like I made fun of Ulvi last night, and afterwards I was like, "You don't mind me?" And he's like, "No, I don't give a shit."
bro,
Yeah.
we have this recorded when
Yeah.
Ulfi was coming off the stage on Thursday because he shaved his whole head.
Yeah.
And it turns out he has a weird fucking skull. Like he has a dent in the middle, then it kind of
Right.
comes up a bit.
Okay.
And then he was coming off the stage. I was like, wait, I'm not done with you. What the fuck hit your head when you were little? And he goes, potato. And he was cool with
The
it.
way that he said it,
And
he
the
was
funniest
like,
thing is we were chilling on
Potato.
Sunday and he was like, yeah, bro, I shaved my head. I just realized I have a weird fucking skull. Like he never knew
You never
before.
saw it.
He
And
realized
as soon
it
as he
when
shaved
you
his
were
head. We
Yeah.
pointed it out.
all it took him was
Yeah.
someone who's taller than him to
And
see.
I had an amazing one that people didn't get because I guess I said it.
So was it that
unclearly.
amazing?
It was an amazing one. Okay, so he has like a skull that kind of comes up at the front, and I said it looks like if you spent 3 more months in your mother's womb when she was pregnant, you'd split into twins.
Jesus.
Right.
It's a good
Right.
one, but people didn't get it. They didn't hear it. Yeah, I
That's because biologically that happens early on in the gestation.
not
but that's
Wait,
fine. All right, shut
They're
up,
like,
Brandon.
well,
You're
that's
biologically
medically
correct. All right,
inaccurate.
all right.
No, that's one of my favorite
But-
jokes. Is like the reason they weren't laughing is because it's factually inaccurate.
But I feel like that's a good vibe, and we're having a lot of newcomers. We had a newcomer this Sunday, the girl from Palestine. We had one the
We
week
had this
before,
one
the
guy who
from
was
Uzbek.
like,
Yeah.
we had even this one guy who was like, "Oh, I want to perform because I have 3 minutes to talk about Ukrainians," and we were like, "Nope,
Yeah, we're like maybe next week, buddy.
maybe." Which
Was he Polish?
No, he was Ukrainian.
Oh, okay.
How do guys find you through your page?
Someone just messaged me now.
yeah,
Because on every post we post, we
if
have a
you're
bit
funny. I
say,
see.
do you think you're funny? Like, we love
Yeah.
newcomers, you can sign up, but please first look in the mirror. We have to look at that for 5 minutes. Is that polite?
Right.
Something like that. That's funny. But we had a newcomer 2 weeks ago. We had a newcomer. We had a newcomer last week?
Every week.
Week before.
Yeah.
Someone just signed up for next week, so that's 3 newcomers in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Then we had Nilesh. He turned up about, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, maybe
Exactly.
2 months.
Right.
Yeah.
So this person that just messaged me is a lady, and we had the new lady this week from Palestine. We had Jasmine turn up at the beginning when we started in November. Shout out Jasmine. Then we had Beatrice turn up before that. What are you doing?
Stop fucking wanking the mic stand.
You know we can
I'm
hear
sorry,
that.
but I can't.
Yes.
I don't
Every
know.
vibration.
Probably, yeah, probably.
It's that kind of mic. Anyway.
Probably.
So now we have...
I'm not 100% sure, but usually, yes, that mic is very sensitive.
We have like 5 or 6 girls that just started performing in the past 6-8 months, and they like want to do it, and they're like interested in it.
Yeah.
And they're cool. They all have
cool.
different personalities and styles. It's super fucking cool what's happening right now.
Yeah, because usually people just walk up to me after the show,
and it's literally thanks to me and you doing stuff.
Yeah, totally. Except I'm not. I just want to like get better and just do it a weekly show.
Sure.
And you're expanding.
But that was our aim. The aim number 1 was to get more stage time for ourselves whenever we want.
Exactly.
But
at the same time, we needed people because
like
that's how
10
we
new people
started in
turned
the
up.
first place.
It's like 10 new people turned up. Ricardo, he just started in August. Nilesh, he just started 6 weeks ago. Those 5 ladies, they just started very recently.
All right, enough business talk. Let's abuse
It's
more.
not business talk. It's
Let's
simple.
abuse Badr more about his ADHD. Because now I feel bad.
Allah
Like,
shit.
stop fiddling with
Oh my god, mom, dad, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Kid, no, let's talk about the scene. And like most people that listen to this know us from the shows.
That's probably true, yeah.
So it's I figure it's very cool what's happening.
But for the listener, Badr was just stroking the mic stand and staring off into
it's my
space.
ADHD, guys, alright? I saw a white spot in here. I'm like, can I remove it? And I was like, oh, this is nice. And
I get it.
kept on going.
I love buttons, and when there's a button, I'm like, since I was a kid, I'd press it, and I do that still to this day. To like when I'm pissing, and there's like the flush. I flush way before.
Same. It's like my.
I'm like, fuck! I flushed.
It's my
too
white
early.
noise.
It's dumb though to like. Yeah, I always have to flush twice because I'm like, fuck! I did it too early every single time because I like buttons, and I'm like, wee.
Flush.
yeah,
I got
really
flush 4 times anyway. Make no difference.
Yeah, I'm really glad people are running out of water in other countries because you guys have fucking. Oh, I'm fidgety with my buttons.
Fiddling.
Diddling do.
Yeah, I realized it was like bad, so I try not to. But it's still
I get
the
it,
buttons are so fun.
I know what you want to press them, sure.
I still remember the first time I was here in Poland, and you have the crank windows on a car, and the first time I saw a button for the window to come down,
the electric. Yeah.
Man, I was so excited. It was like such an exciting time in my life. I have that memory.
This was what, 89? What year was?
I don't know.
Yeah.
My mom was like dating a guy who owned a car dealership.
Oh, fancy.
And so there was like this button. I was like, shit.
This is the shit.
It's just a button, and I don't have to crank it. What? I have lots of memories since I was a kid. Do you guys have memories from when you were really young, or
No,
like,
not at all?
They were
Like how
disappearing.
young? Yeah, I feel like my clear memories, most of them are like after age 6. There's a few before,
same.
but they're very.
I have one
vague.
age 6 when my sister was born. I remember them bringing her to the house. I remember like vague things of playing and shit, but I can't place what age I was. Like I remember like and I can't. Playground incidents and shit situations, but I can't place it chronologically how old I was.
Because I have a good chronological like marker only because I lived in Poland from the age of 2 to 7.
Yeah. Right.
So I have a bunch of memories that definitely happened in that time.
Same with me
Okay,
before 11,
you know what I mean?
but I couldn't tell you if I was 6 or 11. Most of them.
I see. Because I
like
there were some like when I was a kid, we lived like there was certain things like my mom. We had actually. All right, I'll tell the story where it's like. We had 2 dogs. One was a wiener dog. One was a golden retriever.
Yeah.
The golden retriever was a male, and the wiener dog was a female.
Okay.
And they had babies.
Hey.
For real?
Yeah, 8 fucking like they look like the nice gremlin from Gremlins. Whatever his name, Gizmo.
Gizmo, yeah.
And they all look like that. They were adorable. But there was 8 of them running around, and my mom backed up over one by accident.
No,
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
like backed up with a car, or
Yeah,
just like with
just
dinner?
like just with dinner.
Junk in the shark.
She stepped on 4.
like fucking Happy Tree Friends.
No, with a car. But I don't remember. She says that I was like being like, "Oh, it's okay, you know, death happens," and I was like 6.
Damn.
I don't remember that part, but I definitely remember burying the dog. I was
course,
like
yeah.
digging it up and putting the dog in the grave, and I was
And
like,
you remember that?
5 or 6. I don't know exactly, but I remember that.
Oh my god, I had to bury a dog like 3 years ago. I had this. You remember my ex? Whatever, it's irrelevant to the story. But I was at my girlfriend at the time's parents' house, and my parents actually visited from England, and they came there, and they always had this dog, and the dog was sick, and also my girlfriend's dad was sick. He worked in the same factory for 47 years, and the day he retired, he got like heart palpitations.
Oh wow!
He became ill the day he retired.
Damn.
Anyway, so he had these heart problems, and then the dog died, and we had, you know, some grill or party late at night with all the parents, and then my girlfriend's waking me up. She's like, wake up, you need to bury the dog, because my dad is trying to dig a hole, and it looks like we might have to dig one for him when it's done. And bro, I went to bury this fucking dog, this dog that was in a plastic bag.
Jesus.
And I'm digging the hole, and out of nowhere, it's like in a apple tree garden, because it was near Sandomierz. It was in an orchard. They all around this house, this orchard. This is complete countryside, and I'm digging this hole in the orchard, and out of nowhere, from behind apple trees, like 6 turkeys come, and they just stand around the fucking grave. The turkeys came to the dog's funeral, and I just stood there, and then I buried the dog, and we all left.
Wow.
And then you buried the dog, and then all the turkeys were like, "Bye bye."
Yeah, and I left, and all the turkeys also scattered. Yeah.
Wow.
Did you hold the dog like Simba? Like
No.
the circle
You
of
should have
life?
been like,
God dang,
there's
man.
snacks and refreshments in the reception area.
I would like to say some words. What sound do turkeys make? Oh yeah,
I don't
gul
know.
gul gul
Gobble,
gul
gobble.
gul gul. There's fucking huge turkeys, like a meter
Whoa.
each. Like this shit would pick
What?
you. Yeah, it was their turkeys.
Yeah.
Like, they owned them, but
So I guess that dog was probably good to those turkeys. I mean, they're alive, first of all.
Yeah.
The turkeys came to the funeral.
Or
It
they
was such a
hated.
freaky
Maybe they came to
experience.
spit on his grave.
Yeah,
They're like,
Fuck you.
Fuck you, dog.
You ain't chasing me now, bitch.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble gobble, bitch. I don't know. It was a freaky experience. Turkeys came to the funeral.
That's
Yeah.
so weird.
Wow.
It's
bizarre.
I saw something online that was just like a pigeon funeral, but it was just pigeons, and like one pigeon was dead, and they circled the pigeon,
and
were
one
all
of them
like,
was filming.
and talking to, and someone was filming from far away. There was no
A
people.
pigeon was filming from
Yeah. Bird's eye view.
But it was
That's
some
weird.
shit.
But I think I'll remember it for the rest of my life, just because of the quote that she said to me. You have to bury the dog because my dad is trying to dig a hole, and it looks like we might have to dig one for him.
That's fucking dope.
Poor guy, man.
Yeah, and obviously he like shouldn't have retired, since he clearly the second he retired he had some.
But imagine
health
working in the
issues.
same
That's
place
capitalism's
for
strong hand
47
coming
years.
back. You should have fucking kept working, mate.
47 years, you take the same bus to the same factory and do
Yeah.
the same
Imagine.
shit.
Yeah.
It disrupts your life for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you have no like real reason to get up or whatever to go to.
47 years, how long is that? That's like you can kill someone, go to prison, get out after 25, kill someone again, and you only have 3 years left. That's how long it fucking is.
Yeah, that's
God,
47
but
years
it's-
doing the same.
It's a long time.
I had before when I moved here, like right before I moved, I was in North Bay, and I was talking to my like pretend grandfather, I guess, like godfather, I guess you would say.
Okay, yeah.
But and he was like, "Yeah, it's good you're moving, because some people say they have like 30 years of experience, but really they have 1 year of experience 30 times.
Yeah.
It's the same thing over and over. So change it up."
Yeah, yeah.
And it's true, because like if you're doing the same thing every year over and over, it's like
Yeah, I feel like there's less and less people like that have that kind of job that they keep for so long. It's just almost not a thing now anymore.
yeah, probably not. Unless, I mean, depends.
Unless you're a thief, then the market never goes away. I don't know.
Would you?
But in America, like they used to have that thing. Oh, I'm a fucking GM man or whatever. I worked in that plant or
Yeah,
whatever
right.
for all my life.
Workplace
And
loyalty
that's
should
fiction
fucking
now.
die.
What?
Wait, what?
Workplace loyalty should fucking die.
Well, yeah,
It's an insane concept
I
that you
agree
owe
with
a
that,
company
but-
something.
Yeah.
Well, it depends who you're working for, I guess. What if the person is like, it's just like a mom and pop shop, and then
but
they're amazing
sure.
to you, and they like something you were out of
And
money,
then they
or-
die, and
They're
the
still
son
exploiting
takes
your
over and
labor,
ruins
but
the
yeah.
company and fires you.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's always happened.
Oh, like yeah, something like that. But like, if you, I don't know, this is a hypothetical.
No,
but if you
sure.
loved a job or something, and you had a
Fuck that
great,
shit.
you hate love.
If you really loved
Okay, so
pressing those
love.
hubcaps
So
for
my
30
model
years.
for life was I found the thing that I was good at, writing, and I would take a job and just leverage it for another thing. Okay, I've done this type of thing once. I can leverage it.
Yeah,
to do
because
it
you're not a
again
boomer.
and
You
again
don't.
and again. I'm not a fucking
You
boomer.
didn't grow
exactly.
up in that
And every time
mentality.
I can, try and negotiate my rate up or try and, swindle this way. And then I have a thing to show somebody. I done it once. They ask, have you done it before? I say, that's my most recent thing. That's a true and valid statement.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything. It just means
I've
that
leveraged. Yeah, in 3 years, I've whatever quadrupled or more my hourly rate just by leveraging thing after thing.
Yeah.
If I
And
spent
stealing office
that
supplies.
time in the job, I would have exactly.
Turkey sandwiches.
I would have maybe had 2 raises of a few hundred Z's here and there.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying then where you're saying loyalty for one place. But if you if you have you work for 3 years at one place and it's good and you're time to move on, you're still like, oh, that was a cool place to work. I just have a better
I feel like
place.
if you have a full-time job, you're not progressing in life. Honestly, like if you work at
but
one
sometimes
place, it's not progress.
I mean, if some of those companies, there's like a laid out specific path of advancement, and you get raises and all this.
It would take me minimum 10, 15 years in a corporation to get to my current level.
Yeah, now a lot of places it's not even possible because they hire from another pool that you're never in. But
Exactly.
I don't know.
Office drama.
Yeah.
Most interesting topic.
Yeah.
It's very hard actually. Fucked up my kind of side of upholding my relationship because I've spent my whole life to not be in that world.
Right, yeah.
And now, my girlfriend comes back, she wants to talk about the office drama. I'm like,
Yeah, doctors have it sweet. They made up this thing that they can't talk about their work. So that's probably because they had wives and they were like, "Oh, I can't talk about work. Sorry."
yeah.
That's like a sweet.
I don't think it's doctors. It's everyone but doctors. It's like doctors are not allowed to talk about anything.
That's also the problem. You
That
spend
makes
so
sense.
much time of your day on doing that. What else are you going to fucking talk about?
Yeah, of course.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I guess it depends. I'd prefer to hear someone talking about what they were doing. I don't want to repeat unless it's some crazy story. But I don't want to repeat I did this today and this today. I lived that. Why do I have to repeat it to you?
I have to
I
old
never
man.
talk about my day. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't.
I had this premise. I don't think I've ever said it on stage. Well, it was kind of a punchline there. That guys talk about their day when something significant happens.
Yeah.
Something unusual.
Right.
Whereas I feel like many ladies talk about their day every day.
Badr's face is like
Misogynistic disclaimer.
No, it's not. But
yeah.
Okay, well,
yeah, there's maybe some truth to women focusing more on relationships and all this as
I
opposed
don't know
to
whether
events.
it's a cultural thing that they kind of want to talk it out, but I've never felt the need to talk about what the fuck I'm doing, dude. It's boring as shit. I don't want. I don't. It's a means to an end to me. What is my job is actually very interesting at times, but
You also do sign
Right. How much-
NDAs and stuff.
Right,
yeah,
but
how much can you
that's
give a
true.
fuck?
I understand, but also, you are working on that. If you're going to therapy, that is repeating things that happened in your life. And so if you're trying to, I mean, I agree with you because I also feel like I don't want to talk about it, but that's what's good about something like therapy, where it's they force you to repeat something that you wouldn't want to talk about.
Yeah. Uncomfortable. And
Uncomfortable
you
or
have to go through
something.
it, Yeah.
I mean, it's different than just repeating, oh yeah, I took the bus today and then I ate a sandwich.
And the
It's
psychiatrist like, oh my god, come on, move on.
what are your problems though? Oh, I'm fine. Why are you here?
Yeah, I don't like telling them so much, but I do. I like listening to some of my wife's stories of the corporate world because it just a lot of it is like about how stupid people are.
Yeah, it always is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
and how
it's not
chaotic.
Yeah,
the corporate world
it's never.
is. It just confirms.
I did this today. I did that many things today. It's always like some kind of dynamic, but.
No, a lot
I
of it
personally
is like
spend so much of my life escaping it. I feel like it's hard to connect for me, and it's like a problem because I like to listen to my girlfriend and be that, but it's like school. Like, bro, you are still in school. If you have a full-time job out of university, you are still in school.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it just confirms my decision to not participate in that. I'm like, made the right decision. I'm broke, but at least I don't have
7
to
a.m.
do
Get
that
up,
shit.
put on your fucking uniform, sit at your desk, bitch, do your thing. It's cool.
Wait, this is what you tell your girlfriend? Sit at your desk, bitch.
No, but they do. They do. That's what they require. That's not. I didn't make up the capitalist 8-hour work system from the Victorian. Do you know where the 8-hour workday comes from?
It was 8 hours. Yeah.
No.
Victorian factories. Because then
sense.
they could have 3 shifts of fucking, Victorian little slaves, basically.
Yeah.
People that lived in poverty. And it's kind of what we're going towards now in England, where people that are working full-time in the minimum wage jobs don't actually have enough money to survive. Whereas back then, they lived in poorhouses and they were exploited basically at slave level. And now they have, charities and food banks. There's like something like 1,000 food banks in the UK.
Oh, really? So like minimum wage, you can't live off.
Yeah,
of it.
they have to go to a food bank to get free food because minimum wage you can't survive, or even 2 minimum wages in a house.
A lot of
it's
people
fucking insane.
Wow. That's
But
crazy.
that was the same thing in the 1800s in the Industrial Revolution, except then nobody gave a fuck. Nobody gave them charity. They just lived in the poorhouse and the whole life was work.
Right.
And first they worked 16 hours. But then they went to a 3-shift system with 8-hour days, so they could run the factory around the clock in 3 shifts. That's where the fucking 8-hour workday comes from. It has no other justification.
And the best part is like there's like activists and union organizers and stuff working to change that, and then fucking the guy from the Ford company gets the credit afterwards because he finally decided to, in the U.S. at least, I think he's like the most famous guy to agree to that.
Well, Henry Ford, one of the most evil people that ever lived.
Right, but people actually give him credit for changing the workday to 8 hours, which is so funny.
Can you be productive for 8 hours a day?
Yeah, most people can't. I
mean, I do 8-hour like DJ shifts, but they give me alcohol and I'm playing music and shit, so it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like a different. That's not an 8-hour work week. It's just a.
It's pretty tiring though. I mean, the few times I've done it that long, it's kind of crazy. Yeah. It's like on your feet, and you got to be. I mean, you're engaged most of the time.
No, it's super engaging. Like you have to do. Like think about it. The song.
You have to deal with drunk people fucking giving you requests. Fuck those people. Oh my god.
Can I listen to that song?
Can you play my song?
Oh my god.
that I learned that's pretty easy because all you say is like, yeah, of course, and then they forget.
And just ignore it.
DJ tips from Kites Beats.
Yeah, be like, or be like, I'm sorry, I'm from Canada, I don't know that song. And I totally know it, I just don't want to play it.
Of course.
But like, definitely, like, yeah, sure, I'll play it. And then they're like, okay, cool. And every single time, maybe once in my lifetime, they came back and were like, you didn't play that song. They'll fucking forget. They're drunk.
You get bad reviews later. I wanted to hear Rick James. I was waiting all night.
Yeah, not
Unity.
not anymore. Like I used to do weddings. I don't do weddings anymore. And those are, you know what?
Fucking rough.
To be honest, those are fine the day of. It's just like
Before,
3 months before.
Yeah.
If you have one bride who's like Bridezilla has to control everything.
Bridezilla.
It's a crazy thing because you're like, this is 3 months away. I can do this, and there's no way to tell her like you're in the right hands. I can handle it. Just give me like a few songs, and I'll figure it out.
But it's her special day.
Yeah.
It's the last day she'll be happy.
Oh God, I hate that.
It's the last day, exactly. It's
It's a princess.
It's the promotion.
She looks like a prince. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's one reason I stopped doing it. Another reason I stopped doing it is like I've DJ'd at weddings. It's fine, everything's fine, but like I can tell they're gonna get divorced.
I've been to so many weddings where you can just tell these people are starting to hate each other right now.
Yeah.
What are you fucking doing?
And that's a tough thing. Like, it's easy on stage to tell the truth, and like even if the joke doesn't work, you're trying to say some truth. But like when you're just there and it's not your job to tell the truth.
Pretend.
It's so hard to pretend, and like,
Yeah.
it's so weird where you're like, you guys shouldn't be together. Like, I could save you a lot of time and money if you just listen to me, but who the fuck am I? So
You should pull a David Guetta and like be like, shout out to the lawyers. And it's like, you guys are gonna get divorced in 5 years.
just ruin their
I
wedding.
went once to a wedding where the groom apparently fucked a stripper the day before.
Yeah, that.
And she found out.
The day of? She
the
found
day
out?
before.
She found out, yeah.
Oh.
Well,
At the wedding? She
yeah,
found
yeah.
out?
Well, I don't know, at some point. But he fucked the stripper like day before, a couple of days before.
Yeah.
Wait. You were at this wedding?
Mm-hmm.
So wait, did the wedding go on and she didn't know yet?
No, she definitely knew. She
Jesus.
was like visibly angry and
But they
disgusted.
still went
time
ahead-
and still married this motherfucker.
Yeah.
It was like the first
Yeah.
dance, and she was like scolding him with her eyes. Her face
Wow.
was of stone during the
It's like-
first
That's
dance
awkward.
at the
I'm
wedding.
gonna lose my deposit. We have to go through.
Yeah. Literally, but that might be the
I
only
mean, that's-
reason.
Yeah.
Once you're tied in economically, it starts to get crazy. Like,
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah, that's fucked up. I've never been to that kind of wedding. I have been to a wedding where I'm like, I don't want to be here, and then they get divorced a year later. And I'm like, I fucking want my time back. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, it's annoying.
Right.
But yeah, that's why I won't get married. I don't know. That's
But it's a bad deal. It's just a bad deal.
Is it though?
Economically, it's a bad deal.
But you can
Is it
set it up.
tax wise, it's actually beneficial for a lot of people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for your facts, Mr. Gaweł.
Sorry,
His experience. He's the only one married.
Especially if one person makes more money. it works out.
It works out very well.
Yeah.
But
But
so until it doesn't.
of course, yeah.
and
I don't know. I feel like my life hasn't changed, but we never made a big deal out of it. I guess a lot of people don't even know we're married. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people say you're girlfriends.
Yeah, I used to say that too because I guess I was not still adjusted to the idea of having a wife. I wasn't ready to be old yet.
Yeah.
But it's to me it's pretty much the same relationship. Obviously, it changes over time. But
did you have a wedding?
and we were together for a long time. Yeah, but it was just like the civil ceremony, and there was literally like 5 people there. It was like my sister, my mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, the fucking officials and
Yeah.
and whatever the witnesses that are required.
Right. With that said, like I have been to nice weddings where I can tell they love each other, and it's like a friend's. That was a best wedding where I'm like, I know these people, they're awesome, and it's a fun wedding because it's just like partying with your friends. It's different than like going as a kid and being taken to a wedding.
Yeah,
you barely know.
I didn't have the wedding party. We just like went to dinner or whatever. Yeah. So that I feel like that's half the hassle. Is like inviting all these fucking assholes. Who to invite? It's always more people than you think. People spend so much money on them. It's insane. Like
I don't even
I
know
used to have jokes
150
about
people.
that. Yeah. Well, it turns out pretty quickly that you do if you count all the fucking extended family that people have and all this and all the people that get offended if you don't invite them.
They've been fucking mad at each other for years.
Yeah, well-
Nobody speaks to anybody.
I know, but a
I
lot
would
of
invite like 2 aunties.
okay. Well, a lot of them get even more mad if you don't fucking invite. It's
Exactly.
weird.
Who gives a fuck?
It's
You
weird.
got married and you didn't invite me. So we haven't been speaking together for like
They
10
didn't invite
years
me
now.
to shit. So
But people spend tens of thousands. Like you could literally buy a person for that. Why would you?
one
get
part of
married?
the family.
Yeah, just buy
One part of the family
I mean,
hasn't
you could go around the
spoken-
world and travel, right? I mean,
One part of the family hasn't spoken to my mom or dad in like 10 years because they didn't fly out from England, especially for the wedding of their son, who they didn't see in like 10 years or so.
yeah, that's weird.
That's
Especially if
fucking
you're
dumb.
doing a wedding in another country or
Yeah, and
city,
you
and you're
expect
expected.
someone to fucking
That's
just
weird.
arrive.
Right. Yeah, that is weird.
Fuck that.
I've been to an Indian wedding once, and that was awesome.
Where?
In Toronto.
That's a big to do, right?
And it's huge because
Yeah.
I only went to one of the nights. They do like many nights, but like it was 1,500 people at the wedding.
Holy
Yeah,
shit,
they
what?
go thousands.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
they
a
do thousands of people
celebration.
because it was my friend's brother's wedding.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't even, I was just like, hey, you want to come to the wedding? I was like, really? He'll invite me? Like, I didn't know what was going on. And they were like, yeah, sure. And so I just showed up. He's like, yo, what's up, man? And like, just a buffet. And
How does that even?
Yeah,
how much
because
does
food
that
and service
cost?
there costs pennies. Food is so cheap.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
seriously.
but it's not necessarily in India. I mean, this,
No, it's
you're
not.
talking
It's in
about
Toronto.
Canada, right?
Yeah.
So it's
It's their
Canada.
culture
oh,
to
okay,
invite
okay,
everyone.
Sorry, I thought it
yeah,
was
it's
actually
Indian
no,
people,
no,
but
I
in
thought
a
it was
different
crazy.
country. So
yeah, but it's like so many people don't know the bride and groom. You're just because of the community. But the thing that was the weirdest is that no one listens to the speeches. Like the father of the bride went up and people are chatting and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like just like constant chatter. He's talking and I'm like, what the fuck? And my friend was like, yeah, this is normal. You know how many fucking
you can't control 1,500 people.
He didn't have a good icebreaker joke to pull him in.
No, it's like a huge stand-up show where some people brought their friends and they got the cheap tickets and they're not listening. I mean, it's hard to keep people
totally
attentive.
normal to not listen.
It's very easy to break into a wedding, like to just
if it's that big.
If that's big, and that's part of like, oh yeah, that's expected. Like
I don't even understand where you host that. Like that's so many people.
Yeah, it was like a big it looked like a Taj Mahal type building. I mean, it wasn't
like a
course.
temple.
You mean
or
a
something?
temple?
No,
yeah,
I think
it was just a big hall for basically Indian weddings,
specifically for weddings. Yeah.
So like they rent it out all the time, and because 1,500 people go to this wedding, it's like they go to weddings constantly. They just
that's a good fucking business. It's exploiting people's emotions and getting bank on that. Oh my god,
that's what I'm talking about.
There's such a premium on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the wedding dress alone is
forget insane. Funerals, weddings.
Yeah.
Mind you, everyone you bring, it's like no boxed gift, so you just bring money.
Okay, yeah.
You just put it in, so everyone's paying.
1,500 gives for you.
Yeah, everyone pays for the wedding, basically.
Yeah, I guess
that's kind of the model in Poland. You give
sort
the
of.
envelope.
Yeah,
you might give a giveaway, still give the envelope.
Expected to pay for your plate, basically.
Pay for your plate. Yeah.
Right.
Polish weddings are priced per plate.
Yeah.
Some people do, I guess, make a profit from that, but it's so much hassle. I don't understand.
You have to invite the right people strategically.
Exactly.
You are not getting invited.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck! I'm the sheep.
I can bum a cigarette off him. That's all.
Can I have a cigarette?
I don't know. I'm just not. Indian weddings were fun. I went to one, but it was very fun, and it was cool. And I don't know if it's normal for people to not, like in Indian weddings, to just not listen to the groom. Maybe it was just this group of people. But
Maybe.
Apparently it was just like.
But with that many people, like you're bound to have the people splitting off into groups or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
Especially if it drags on for a while, like Dave said. I mean, if it's a fucking boring speech, what are you gonna do? It's like
I don't understand public speaking without jokes.
Well, now
cringe.
You, now
It's
you,
cringe.
Now
What
you
about
don't.
political?
Why are you taking yourself so seriously? Yeah, politics. Why are you taking yourself so seriously?
What about like
Yeah.
a TED talk about something interesting?
You still need punchlines.
Yeah, some people put in jokes. I mean, they have.
do.
It's
Nothing
like a whole
is that
institution.
interesting
now.
that people will listen to you uninterrupted for 30 minutes in this fucking world.
Yes, we are gonna get nuked. That is very, very interesting.
Yes.
When and how?
I saw a TED talk about a guy who was going to be a school shooter, and it was. Did you see that?
What?
Did you like it?
Wait,
He had
what?
jokes.
Did he have jokes?
He had jokes.
Wait, what?
A guy was going to shoot up a school, and then at the last minute he decided not to.
Oh,
and
really?
His
gave a
friend
TED
reached
talk
out
about it.
and like
seen
helped
that.
him.
Yeah,
and he
he
talks
saved
about
his whatever.
Yeah, and he talks about the mentality of what he was.
And he
thinking.
went on TED Talks now.
He went on TED Talks.
It's him?
One of the most popular TED
Or like
Talks.
his friends went on
No,
TED
no.
No, he
him.
did.
TED
Because he never did it. He never killed anyone. He had like a gun in his bag or something and went to school and his friend talked him out of it or something.
That'd be
Talks.
dope.
Why does he go on TED Talks?
To explain the mentality.
It's
of,
very interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting. It was
What
like,
if he wore a trench coat to the TED Talk?
Hold on a second
I just wanted to keep you guys in suspense. It's cool. I'm unarmed.
and that's how he ends. He's like, I didn't do it yet.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And I, in fact, joined Islam. Bigger guns, bigger.
No, it was a super interesting one because it is just explaining the mentality of what he went through and how he got out of it, which was just basically human contact. Like,
It always is.
His friend was just like helpful to him, invited him over.
Nobody shoots up a school because they got too many friends.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it was cool. And I don't think he had many jokes, though. I would love that trench coat. Just comes in trench coat. Fucked up.
Do you know when I understood I could be a very good comedian if I tried? Is I wrote some shit, like I said random, like I said before that was the last episode now because we stopped. But taking random notes of shit. And I wrote something about school shootings. And I wrote something like, I was always depressed and bullied in school. I never wanted to kill anybody. What happened to killing yourself? And then like a year or two later, I see fucking Dave Chappelle do basically the exact same joke in his special.
Oh, right.
And I was like, okay, I can write. We can
Wow,
do this.
interesting.
That's funny.
We can do this.
Sure. Yeah.
And then he did it great. He did it fucking perfect. He was like, "What happened to killing yourself? How about his first was like, skip school and skip school. What about drugs? What happened to killing yourself?" Like he went through all the options, and then, that's when I kind of got it. I was like, okay.
I can't remember that. Are you sure it's not Chris Rock?
No, it's Dave Chappelle in one of the Netflix specials. I think the one in the
the
jean jacket, whichever one that is.
He was talking about like why only white people shoot up schools,
yes,
not black people.
Yes,
like,
he also
just
made
skip
that.
school, skip school, motherfucker,
Skip school, motherfucker. Try drugs. Have you tried drugs?
Yeah,
yeah. I think I remember it now.
Yeah. The very first time I figured out that I can do comedy was when I came here. But before that, I figured out that I'm a comedian because most of the people that I'm around, they were like, "You're very funny. Have you considered comedy?" I'm like, "Oh, maybe."
Sure.
The very first time I did like a set, it was 6th grade. We had to write an essay about childhood games.
Okay.
And I remember the day before that, I sat like my mother, I had like a lot of tests, and my mother would hate me whenever she would teach me something like in school, because I would take hours and hours and hours to just understand.
You still fucking do.
And memorize. Thanks, Dad. So I would literally just sit hours, and she would be completely exhausted. She's like, "What's wrong with you? I don't understand." I'm like, "I don't know, Mom." Like, what the fuck?
I'll go for the same thing every time we try to write.
Yeah, so she would be like, she was like, "Okay, so write this essay, take half an hour, and then we're gonna go on with like studying for like tests, subjects for like the next 5 hours." And I was like, "Okay, that's a good plan." I sat around, I wrote this essay for 5 hours. She was like, "This is this is only 1 page or like 2 pages. What are you writing?" And I'm like, "Mom, I'm invested." All right. Yeah. And I went the next morning. I went to class. I was so proud of like writing this that took me 5 hours. Yeah. And I said it, and everyone was like laughing. Even the teacher, she was like, "Round of applause," or like, "Please, people, like give, like this." She appreciated what I wrote, and she was like, "This is amazing. You're a very good writer." I'm like, "Wow, thank you." I sat 5 hours, and the subjects I failed every single subject test after that because I didn't study for that. And
she knew you could have ended up a school shooter, so she's like, "Round of applause."
Buddy up with him, buddy up.
No, but that's cool. I mean, that shows like how much you can do. Is like people that call kids lazy or whatever. It's like when you're engaged, that's you can actually do something.
Of childhood memories, I have this memory. I don't know how old I could have been. I don't think my sister was even around, so I could have been like 5. And all my family had the kiosks, the newspaper booths.
Yeah.
And they always had those little joke books. Every fucking newspaper store had those, and they used to give me those. And I'd come to the family party with the aunties and uncles at my grandmother's house, 30 people, and my opener would be 5 years old. My opener would be, "What's the difference between a Jew and a pizza? Pizza doesn't scream when you throw it in the oven." Oh
God,
5 years old, isn't it? Like, jeez. And my uncles were like, and my grandma used to hit me with the fucking club. Like, "Don't say that shit. Stop teaching him shit like that." That was my first set. 20 people. That's how I hyped myself up for the first show. When I went to an open mic, there was like 10 people. I was like, "Fuck this." I did bigger sets than this when I was 5.
Yeah.
And that was.
I remember that joke from elementary school. It's fucking crazy. It's like, and I think it's actually funnier in Polish because I don't know if it was pizza, but in the punchline goes, "Bo zapiekanka nie puka w szybkę."
Yeah, he doesn't knock on the window.
because the pizza doesn't knock on the window.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or like the sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I don't think I was class clown and like joked around and did theater and shit like that. But like I would do things like we had to do speeches about like teach the class something, and so people were like, "Here's how you canoe" and stuff like that. And I did like a 3-step process on how to open a jar, and like it's completely made up bullshit steps because it's just like the easiest thing in the world. And I just fucked off and like didn't do the assignment, but made people laugh instead. But like I think it was like always that wasn't like the time where I was like, "Oh yeah, I could do comedy." It was just like I always thought things were funny, and I just liked making people laugh.
Yeah,
I don't have one specific kind of memory.
I never had that epiphany. I still don't. Yeah.
I recently remembered that I people really laughed and enjoyed me insulting and ranting and roasting other people in school.
Because they were scared of you.
I don't. No. I wasn't that kind of kid. Like I was. I don't know, in a couple fights in my life. But I remember that recently, and I tried to bring it on stage, and it's fucking working to some extent.
Oh, roasting people.
Yeah, just being kind of playing into the character they expect me to be.
Yeah,
like a big fucking, bully. Aggressive animal.
Oaf.
Mm-hmm. Oaf is a fantastic word.
Yeah, right. Big oaf.
Oaf is a fantastic word to
sounds like a
describe what I'm
big,
doing.
massive something.
And yeah, I remember that recently. There's a lot of stuff that kind of came to me and I'm pulling together that I am, because I get so fucking angry off the stage. I have issues.
Right.
I think most of us probably do it. I don't know if I always wonder if it's I don't have very early childhood memories because you just forget that stuff, or like it's traumatic.
Yeah, like once every 8 months.
I'm not sure.
When I get like super depressed for no reason, my brain stops working. I'm like, have I been fucked by a priest? Maybe I just don't remember. Like it would explain so much.
Right.
Like it would explain my self-esteem.
I was an altar boy for a while, so yeah.
Oh shit!
I'm pretty sure it was much more
the lingerie on him.
The what?
The lingerie. What's the lace? The lace bottom.
The nightgown.
No, the gown always had some kind of lacy thing at the bottom.
No, mine didn't. It was plain. But yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
I don't know how altar boys are dressed. There's lingerie involved.
No, sometimes
there's like kind of, a lacy, like curtainy material
at the bottom.
Yeah, like some shit like that. Like the curtain.
It's more old school, I think, but yeah, sometimes
Yeah, I've like I said, I have lots of memories from when I was a kid, but one of them, I didn't get like touched or whatever it's called.
Pretty sure I didn't either.
Yeah, I don't think I did, but it would explain a lot.
But like I was like a super early bloomer, so like in the sense like not my period. What's it called?
You're trying to say you always had a big dick?
Puberty. Yeah, not puberty, but like. Just sexually, I was like, I saw Cindy Crawford when I was like 5. Like, I mean, the picture and being like, oh, she's so hot, and like, I got caught in nap time in kindergarten jerking off.
Whoa, really? You were sexual at that time?
Yeah. I was.
That is.
I mean, you just like play with yourself like this.
Well, yeah, I guess a lot of children do that. I think people just don't talk about it. Yeah.
I didn't get sexual to that. Maybe because of Islam. I think maybe because I was never that sexual kid at all. Even when my friends at the age of 14 they got sexual, I was like, "What are you guys doing? Like, I don't understand this."
Yeah, but some of the most repressed Catholic people are like.
I think I'm finally ready to share my most embarrassing memory. I think about this once every 2 weeks. Okay. My most embarrassing memory was humping a pillow in front of my grandmother. And it's not that she walked in and caught me. It was, hey, Nan, look what I invented. I think about that shit once a week.
Dude, that's funny, though.
It is. But that's so fucked up. Hey, really Grad, funny. Look what I can do.
Such an innocent invention.
Fucking a pillow.
Wow, you were so proud of that.
And I don't know if that's some kind of intervention or some shit, but Czarek Jurkiewicz, who you referenced earlier, has a great joke about that he also was fucking his parents' couch. Yeah. And then they told him to stop. And then they didn't know what to say because he was like, why? And then they said, because it's our couch. It's a fantastic joke about that. And I lived a very similar reality where I fucked pillows in the couch.
Wow. That's pretty funny, though. That's a funny line, too.
Yeah. What was the reaction? Was she like...
I don't remember.
No way.
I could have been 4 years old or 5 years old. Who the fuck knows?
Or 23.
No. This was definitely before my sister was born.
Yeah, I'm assuming you weren't 23 next to your grandma. Look what I invented.
Yeah, I like the idea that you thought that you were like the first to come up with that shit.
Look,
there's no way everybody.
Hey, look, man, no heads.
Awesome. Yeah.
If it was my grandmother, she would be like, "Oh, you little," and she would make me show it to the entire family. Look at this cute, goofy little boy. Traumatized me forever.
I have never told that to anybody.
That's a funny story. It's not really that embarrassing because you're a kid, also, though.
Yeah, but
like your memory is embarrassing for you.
Well, yeah,
but telling the story, I don't find it.
It's not embarrassing. It's just.
So you're cute. A child.
It's cute.
You're a little kid. You just.
But it's weird because I say anything and everything on stage, and that's one thing I've never said to anybody in the
you should
world.
say it on stage. It's a funny thing.
Maybe.
Just that it's just one line.
That is pretty funny that you're embarrassed by that, because like I think in the last episode I cut out, not because of that, but I cut out a part where you said you came in the bin.
And there you go, you're gonna cut it
Cut
again.
that out. I was waiting for my girlfriend to hear it. So what he cut out, or he's not going to cut out right now,
I can send it to
is
you.
that I had COVID for like 4 weeks. I felt so terrible, and so did my girlfriend. She got like infected kind of twice. She was fine, and then she wasn't fine again. And it lasted for like 4 weeks.
Wow.
Like we couldn't do anything. I couldn't even eat pussy because I might cough in it. So, and there was no sexual drive when you're fucking. I had pus coming out of my eyes and ears. There's no fucking
right.
But then finally it subsided a little bit, but it didn't for her. So I was like jerking off, and then there's 3 weeks of just pent up cum. Just came. I was like, oh shit! I have a jumper on. I have trousers on. What to do? I just saw a bin and I just fucking bow straight down into the bin, and that is somehow less embarrassing than showing off my pillow fucking skills to my grandma.
As an adult.
I disagree, but okay.
You never came in the bin?
No,
What the fuck's wrong with you, man? You never came in
I
this.
say I have.